look at the resources index retreating by 7.7% in last week's trading session. We had Hwange and Rio Zim falling back quite significantly. Any changes in fundamentals on that front?
We attribute those swings to normal market volatility, as there's been no news particularly affecting those resource counters. So it would pretty much be the usual volatility in the market with respect to those ones.
Now, Gold is trading under cautionary at this stage. Your thoughts on what could possibly be going down at the company?
Okay, we hear that, Gold, you'll be aware, it's a subsidiary operation of New Dawn Mining Corporation, which is listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange in Canada. We hear they are looking at buying out minority shareholders in Gold so that they acquire a listing on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange as New Dawn. So we think that this cautionary statement relates to those potential transactions.
Now, a company that was trading under cautionary is Chemco. They've since been suspended on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange with effect from the 3rd of August. We know that TSL plans to buy out minority shareholders in the company. Your thoughts on Chemco?
Okay, yeah, I think like you've just said, what we've heard on Chemco is that TSL, the parent company, is looking at swapping equity out of Chemco shareholders, so they will get TSL stock instead. So while they do the valuations and due diligence with respect to that, the company did apply for voluntary suspension on the trading of its shares last Friday. And so we expect that the next thing is that a valuation consensus will come through, and then Chemco shareholders will instead get TSL, and then we just have TSL listed in the place of Chemco.
Well, the results season gets underway over there in Zimbabwe, with the CBZ expected to release results on Thursday. What kind of numbers are you expecting out of CBZ?
CBZ is one of the biggest banks in Zimbabwe. It has had strong earnings generating capacity, and we anticipate that they should be able to throw anything in the region of 19 to 20 million US dollars in attributable earnings, which should translate to around about 2.9 cents per share, an increase of 34% from the interim period last year. So those are the market expectations on CBZ earnings. That's quite bullish, I must say. Yeah.
All right, Dave. We had the midterm policy statement being issued in last week's trading session. What were some of the highlights that you took out of the statement?
Okay, I think the major highlight really relates to the new capitalization levels required for the banking institutions. Commercial and merchant banks had their capital increase from 12.5 million US and 10 million respectively to 100 million US dollars, which is targeted across the next 2 years in 25 million increments every 6 months. Now, I think that's a huge call on bank capitalizations, given that we've just had banks struggling to raise the $12.5 million target. To expect banks to be on 25 by end of this year, 50 by mid next year, 75 by end of next year, and 100 by mid 2014, I think is a huge call on banks, which may see some consolidation happening in that sector.